All right, let's talk about a word you've probably heard a million times lately, decentralization. It's everywhere, right? Tech news, political talk. But what does it actually mean? It's this huge world-changing idea, but honestly, it's also super misunderstood. So let's dive in and really unpack it. So, when I say decentralization, what's the first thing that pops into your head? For most of us, it's probably Bitcoin, right? Or blockchain. And hey, you're not wrong. That's definitely the most famous example out there. But, and this is a big but, that's just the tip of the iceberg. It's one tiny piece of a way, way bigger puzzle. Because what if I told you that this super new tech idea isn't new at all? Like, not even close. We're talking centuries old. It's a concept that has shaped ancient societies, it's at the heart of modern healthcare, and yeah, now it's revolutionizing the digital world. So believe me when I say this is about so much more than just crypto. Okay, so to really get decentralization, we first have to talk about its polar opposite, centralization. And honestly, there's no better place to look than, well, the internet. The very platforms we're all on every single day are perfect examples of how a handful of massive players have ended up running our digital lives. Check out this quote. It really just hits the nail on the head. We've got these tech giants with unbelievable control over everything we see and do online. But our laws are basically from a different era. They're playing a whole new game, and the rulebook is ancient. You know, the internet was born with this beautiful promise, right? It was going to be distributed, open for everyone. But the reality today? It's a bunch of walled gardens. You've got a few companies controlling everything. And get this, it goes even deeper. Roughly 1/3 of the entire internet is hosted by Amazon. A third! That is an insane amount of power concentrated in just one company. So, with all this power in one place, what's the alternative? Well, the answer isn't some new app coming out of Silicon Valley. Nope. We've got to look back, way back, because people have been wrestling with this exact same problem for centuries. Just look at these confederacies from way before the modern era. You've got the old Swiss Confederation, the Haudenosaunee Confederacy in North America. These were all different groups, different tribes, who came together for mutual defense or trade. But, and this is the really cool part, they did it without a king or a single central boss telling everyone what to do. They figured out how to have unity and local independence at the same time. And this local first thinking, it actually has a name. It's called subsidiarity. It sounds fancy, but the idea is super simple. Decisions should be made by the people closest to the problem. The central authority should only step in for the really big stuff, the things that local communities just can't handle on their own. It's all about pushing power down to the lowest effective level. Okay, so we have this powerful idea with some serious history behind it. But how does it actually work in the messy, complicated world of today? Let's take a look at decentralization in action. So one of the biggest arguments for it is that decisions get made close to the ground. It just makes sense, right? The people living in a community know what that community needs. They're the ones who can create the right solutions, whether it's figuring out better sanitation or getting a preventative health service up and running. But, and this is a huge but, decentralization is no silver bullet. It's got a flip side. For every promise, there's a peril. So yeah, you might get better local services. That's the promise. The peril? Something called elite capture, where the local power just gets hijacked by a small, powerful group for their own benefit. And then there's the resource problem. If the central government doesn't give local groups the money and support they need, like we've seen in places like Ghana, the whole thing can just fizzle out. So you see, it's always this delicate balancing act, and that brings us full circle, right back to technology. Because here's the thing, crypto and blockchain, they aren't the definition of decentralization. They're the latest tools we're using to try and solve these age-old problems of power and control, but now on the digital frontier. Just think about your digital identity for a second. It's a mess, right? Your info is scattered across 100 different databases, all just waiting for the next data breach. Well, a decentralized approach flips the script. It puts you back in control. So imagine this. Your university issues you a cryptographically signed, verifiable diploma. It lives in your private digital wallet on your phone. Then, when you apply for a job, you can prove you graduated by sharing just that one credential without them needing to see anything else. You control what you share when you share it. And this thinking is even changing how we build companies and organizations. Enter the DAO, the Decentralized Autonomous Organization. These are, well, they're basically groups trying to work without a boss. No CEO, no traditional hierarchy. Instead, decisions get made through token-based voting. And in theory, anyone can contribute from anywhere in the world.
It is a truly radical experiment in collaboration.
Now, all of this sounds pretty incredible, doesn't it? A more democratic, transparent way to organize ourselves. But, just like we saw with local governments, when you get down to the nitty-gritty, the reality is a lot more complicated. It really is a double-edged sword.
Yeah, the promise is crystal clear. Spread the power out, take it away from the center, and build things that are more fair and transparent for everyone. That's the dream, anyway. But then you see a number like this, 90%. In a lot of the biggest DAOs out there, less than 1% of the token holders control 90% of the voting power. So what happened? Well, power just re-centralized. Wealthy members can just buy up a ton of tokens, and poof. Instead of a democracy, you've just created a new kind of aristocracy. A few whales are calling all the shots.
And this isn't just a DAO problem. It's the same pattern we see over and over. Power has a funny way of concentrating again. You see elite capture in local governments. You even see it inside big companies, where decentralized teams start competing with each other, hoarding information, and forgetting they're all supposed to be on the same side. It's human nature.
So where does that leave us? I think the big takeaway is that decentralization isn't some magic wand you can wave to fix everything. It's a constant push and pull, a challenge to balance giving people power with making sure that power is used responsibly. The tech might be new, but the human challenges are as old as time. So maybe the real question isn't if we should decentralize, it's how. How do we build these new systems to embrace the promise while protecting ourselves from the very real peril?